exactly what notifications look like, how notifications work, and then I'm going to show you a couple of case studies inside the platform of a couple of guys who have really, they have set a bar so high that it just boggles my brain. And I'm going to talk to you about setting up your notifications, and that is working. Can everybody hear me okay? Everybody hear me? And we're rocking and rolling here. Let me pull this screen back up here. And any questions before we get started? Has everybody had a great day? I know it's been a great day here, man. It's been busy as can be. I can tell you this, and I know this is an old cliche. It's been around for like 1,000,000 years that I've been on this earth. You know, you are in the right place at the right time. Beacon technology, and beacons are the tool, not the only tool, but beacon technology combined with some of the other technologies out there that we're working on, and some of the things that we're bringing on board, and the things that we're getting ready to launch out over here over the next 45 to 60 days, you're going to be blown away. And just a little bit about myself. I know we got a bunch of new people on tonight, and thank everybody for coming out to the training. I've been working on beacons since about 2015-ish, early 2015. I had a guy from Maine give me a call one day. He said, "Kerry, you've got to look at this technology." He said, "It's mind-boggling." And he sent me down a beacon, and it transmitted, and it worked only with iPhone and iWallet, and you had to download a bunch of stuff. And I called him, and I hurt his feelings, and I didn't mean to hurt his feelings, but I said, "Man," I said, "this is no good." I said, "There's too many moving parts." And for me, when there's too many moving parts, it's broken. And then when Eddystone started coming out, and I started reading about the Eddystone back in 2016, and and they started, and when I read all the CES, the consumer show out in Vegas, all the talk about beacons, they were using beacons at the Consumer Electronics Show, and this was in 2016, and it was like all the rave. I said, "Man," I said, "I think they figured it out." And so they started, the Eddystone started growing, and Eddystone, by the way, is a lighthouse. That's where it got its name from. Lighthouse, a beacon sending out a radius around. And that's where the name beacon, Eddystone, came by. And so when Google started working on the Eddystone platform and the Eddystone technology, and then the beacon side came on board and said, "Okay, we're going to start implementing this into our chips, and we're going to start broadcasting the Eddystone." And then in early 2017, in January of 2017, Google kind of shut it down. And they were revamping their platform. The beacons were being upgraded. Everything started happening at once. And for about 60 days, there was no Eddystone. It would come up for a day and it was down for a week, and it would come up for a day and it was down for 2 weeks. And so, but what they were doing is they realized that, wow, this Eddystone thing coupled with the Android technology and Nearby was the way to go. And so then in May of 2017, I really started getting involved and started developing my company, and started developing just the opposite of what everybody else was doing. That's just the way I am. And I wanted to put together something for what? For marketing, not for something that was going to sit on somebody's desktop, but for marketing. I'm a small to medium business guy. Grew up in the restaurant business with my dad. And I'm going to choke to death here. I'm all about the small to medium business. And so I wanted to start developing something for the small to medium business, because I don't know if you realize this or not, because we go into Walmart every day. We walk into the big box stores every day. The small to medium business is still the backbone of America. The small to medium business needs more help today than they ever have, because they do not know how to compete against the big box stores. So the first thing they do is they say, "Gosh, we'll just roll up the carpet and lock the doors, and we'll go get a job at the big box store," because I've been in construction all my life, and because I own this hardware store, I'll go get a job at the hardware department at Home Depot or Lowe's. That's not the way it's supposed to be. So I'm all about developing platforms and developing programs and putting things together for those businesses, okay, to help drive people into those stores. I mean, think about this. I can go to the hardware store in my hometown. I'm about 30 minutes from a Home Depot. By the time I have to drive all the way to Home Depot, drive back with the gas, I can go to my lumber yard in my hometown and buy all the screws and all the parts and everything I really need cheaper than I can having to drive all the way to Home Depot and back, including my time. Those businesses need every single person that's on this call. First off, I believe that when you start developing businesses and start looking at businesses and start putting things together, you have to look at the first place that really matters, and that's your heart. You know, we think with our minds, and we need to start thinking with our hearts, because if we think with our hearts, we start thinking about all those businesses out there that really need the help, and it's extremely profitable. I'm here to tell you today, I'm in business today because of the small to medium business market. I don't go after the big guys. I let other people go after the big guys. I don't need the big guys. I want the small to medium businesses because there's a lot more of them than there are big guys, and they have money to spend, okay? And they need marketing. So if you're here tonight, this is what I ask. If you want to be a part of this program and you want to really go out there and launch and do things the right way, think about those small to medium businesses, the ones that the big box stores are pushing out of business because they just can't compete. You know, the big box stores has millions of dollars that they can put into beacon technology and push technology and all this other technology. These small guys don't do that. That's the reason I developed the way that our system collects money. That's the reason I developed the way our system makes money. And that's the reason a person can literally go in the beacon business for about less than $100 a month, less than $100 and less than $60 a month. So with that said, I want you to think about all that tonight as we go through training. Be here for a reason. Be here to do something special and make a difference in someone else's life, like a small to medium business owner. So we're going to talk about nearby and physical web. Now I'm going to bring up on my phone here, I'm going to bring this down and I'm going to bring this up. And I think I just turned off the screen. So give me 1 second here. I got to turn the screen back on. And I'm going to bring this little booger up right here. Can everybody see my S9? Yeah, you can't see it yet, but you're fixing to be able to. That's my S9 screen. And let me pull back up the chat box. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Everybody can see that. Okay, this is an S9. Okay, this S9 is brand new. It came out March the 15th. I actually got mine on March the 13th. Don't ask me how I did that. But I received my phone on March the 13th. So from the top here, when you get notifications now, I've got mine set up to where it will not lock screen in my location. I can, with the new phones, I don't know if the old phones do it or not. I can't lock my screen here because it's got my GPS coordinates put in and that I use my phone all the time and I don't want to lock it here. But if my screen was locked, what you would see on my screen, can everybody see my mouse? Does my mouse show up on here? Kenny, anybody? Does my mouse show up? I'm going to see if I can put a spotlight on here. Okay, thanks. Can everybody see the spotlight now? Okay, awesome, awesome. Right here, if you can see nearby, this is the notification that is received. A lot of people, I'm not sure what a lot of people think, but this is the actual notification that is sent by a beacon, okay, through Bluetooth. Oops, sorry about that. Sent through Bluetooth, okay, and this is what is received. So you can see here that I have three, and I have three showing because I turned off a bunch of the other ones. I've got a ton of beacons all over my house, and believe it or not, some of them I can't find. So what I would do is I said, oh, I got some nearby notifications. These are actual links that are set up in nearby. I don't know if any of you, if any of the T-Vision guys are on here, but get 3 days free, 500 HD channels. This is a T-Vision link here that I tested. RX savings coupon, save up to 75% off. This happens to be a customer in Jacksonville, Florida that I always keep a beacon here that I test. And this is Wednesday night training. That's just typical BS there. So what I would do is I say, oh, I've got nearby notifications. I would open that. And when I open that, you can see all the nearby notifications here. Okay. Now these are the ones I have muted down at the bottom. So this right here, Protective Shield is a standalone beacon. It's not connected to the system. It's just a beacon. This one right here, this one right here, this is Wednesday night training. That's one. These RX saving coupon cards. I can click on this. For example, click here for your RX savings today, RX savings coupon, save up to 75% off. Click here for your RX savings today. I can click on that. And what that's going to do is this is going to go to a website that we developed. And when it goes to that website, it's got the RX savings card here. So if I was at a place in town and this was sticking wherever it's been placed, and I received that notification and I said, hey, check that out. I'm headed to the pharmacy, or I go to the pharmacy every month, or my kids go to the pharmacy, somebody needs the pharmacy. I would click on that because why? Because it says savings coupon, save up to 75% off. Okay. Now, what we did on this, we've got 15 beacons in the field, and we're testing 5 different tags, 5 different titles and descriptions. So on the ones that are actually in the field, there are 3 of them with one title, 3 and description, 3 with the other another. I like to test. So if I saw that, I said, hey, how do I get that savings? And I would click on that because why? It's got a call to action. Call to actions are extremely important. Click here. Now I can come down here and I can look at this. I can share it on Twitter or LinkedIn or Google+. I can download the card if I want to, right to my phone. I can print the card if I want to. It's the same thing, really, downloads. I can go to a primary pharmacy tool if I want to and find out about the prices of the drugs, or I can have the card emailed to me, all right? So this really takes care of everything that this customer needed, all right, to be able to say, this is what I want to do. A lot of people, when they go to their phones, the first thing they'll do is they'll open up Bluetooth. And I get this call a lot. Hey, Kerry, all I see is a UID here. If you're seeing a UID, then what happens is you're in Bluetooth. You're not in nearby. Now, Android has come out with a new program called Close By. I can tell you now, some days it works, some days it doesn't. It's brand new. It just came out with the last upgrade for Android. It's Nearby's sister, if you will. It does the exact same thing. It picks up notifications. I was hoping that it would be showing on mine, but I haven't seen it all day. Some days I see it, some days I don't. Close By does the exact same thing. It picks up notifications from beacons that are close by. Okay, and that's Android's Nearby program, and they're still perfecting it. We are a Android partner when it comes to development. So our beacons were the first beacons to be programmed with Close By in them. We try to stay ahead of the game, try to stay ahead of what's going on. And so our beacons actually have Close By in them. So if someone has a new phone, like an S9, and Close By happens to be working that day, then Close By will show those beacons. But the exact same thing has to happen. When you pull this down up here, Bluetooth has to be enabled. Okay, Bluetooth has to be enabled. If Nearby is not enabled, then you have to enable Nearby, all right? And location needs to be enabled. Now, when you activate Nearby, it's going to tell you to activate location, because Nearby is not just for beacons. And I think that's another big misnomer that people make a mistake on. Nearby is also for Google, where you go to town, and let's say that you go to town and Places is attached to McDonald's. Well, that Google's Places is going to send out a notification because it's all based on triangulation of cell towers and if you have on your location, okay? If you don't have on your location, it will still triangulate with cell towers. Not quite as accurate, but it will do that. And on nearby, what will happen is it'll say, hey, McDonald's is over here, Luigi's is over here, Brahms is over here. So it's not just for beacon technology, not just for Bluetooth signals, all right? It also works with Google Places. And a lot of people get confused. They say, well, I don't have nearby. Everybody has, if you have an Android phone, okay, if you have an Android phone, you have nearby. Now, I'm trying to find my old phone and I don't know what I did with it. I should have broke it out. Let me see if the battery's charged up on it. I don't see it. It's not charged up. I was going to show you on an old phone. What you want to do is you want to go into settings. Let me find settings on here. And you want to come down here. And can everybody see where it says Google settings? Does everybody see Google settings right here? Nearby is Google, okay? So go to Google settings and we're going to scroll down here. And the first thing we're going to see right here in alphabetical order is location and nearby. Click on nearby. Now my nearby is activated, okay? And using nearby, you can use apps supported by. If it's not activated, if it's turned off, then it will tell you to activate that app. Location is on. Now, when you turn on nearby, it's going to tell you, click here to turn location on. If location is turned off, it's going to prompt you to do that. So you can't run nearby without location. The reason you cannot run nearby without location isn't because of beacons. It's because of Google Places and because nearby is a Google service. Nearby is a program of Google. They want you to have location on so they can show you the different places in town that are on Google Places. Does that make sense to everybody? I know that's like a ton of talk. That means really absolutely nothing. But I'm probably creating more confusion, trying to take away the confusion on telling you exactly what nearby really is. When Google created Eddystone, okay, they said, we got to attach this. We've got to hard bake in this Bluetooth technology. What do we use? There wasn't any close by then. So they hard baked it into nearby. They said, okay, we're going to take this technology. We're going to develop this platform. We're going to hard bake this into nearby. That way, when a phone that is BLE, Bluetooth Low Energy enabled, and nearby is enabled, that signal emitting from that beacon will go directly to and open up and tell nearby, hey, there's something out there. Read this packet and display this information. So, and this is the information right here. All right. Now, people get a lot of things confused with this. So I'm going to show you this over here if I've got it on here. There's a thing called the physical web. Right here, this is called the physical web. The physical web was designed for what's called IoT, the Internet of Things. Everything out there can be created and used to transmit or emit a signal. Okay, and they needed something to pick that up. If nearby wasn't available, what could we use? Well, they came out, Google created this. It's called the physical web. You can literally go to Google Hub, okay? And you can go in there and download the SDK. If you're a programmer, you can create your own physical web. You can do, anything you want with that technology. But what you want to do is you literally want to go to the Play Store. Let me find my Play Store on here. Right here. Yep. If I can learn how to use the Play Store. and we're going to type in physical web. And there's going to be a couple of them pop up. All right. The top one right here, this is the one I use. It doesn't fail. There's one on here called PhiWeb. It used to be really good, but for some reason, it just doesn't work very good anymore. Companies go out and start messing with things and really just mess them up. So if you want to use the physical web app, this is what the icon looks like. It's called physical web. Just type in physical web, and 99.9% of the time, it's going to come up number 1 or number 2. I don't know what changes that, but it'll come up number 1 or number 2. All right. So it's the physical web. Now let me show you what it looks like when you open an app on the physical web. Any questions on finding that? Any questions on finding the physical web? Now you do not need the physical web app on Android phones. Okay. You do not have to have it. I have it on mine because I literally test beacons almost 20 hours a day. So open it up. And it's going to show you, see up here at the top, it says nearby beacons. Here are the nearby beacons right here. All the same beacons that you saw on the other one. Here's the RX. Hey, click here for RX savings today, RX savings coupons, save up to. Now, do you notice that this is really big on here? Depending on the size of the phone and the size of your text set on your phone will decide on what characters show up. So this is 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. 29 characters, okay, that it's showing. I've got my phone blown up because I literally wake up in the middle of the night and get on my phone so I can see it, all right? So, but the same thing, it works the exact same way. I receive a signal in, I click on that, and it goes to the exact same site that it went to before. Works exactly the same. Now, you do not need the physical web app on the Android phone. Any questions on the physical web at all? Anybody? Now, I'm going to show you what it looks like on iPhone, and we're going to talk about the iPhone. I just had a 45-minute conversation about iPhone before I got on training. Give me 1 second here. I am going to, connect my iPhone. I almost don't remember how to do this, to be honest with you. There it is. All right. I may have to restart my iPhone. I hope not. I haven't restarted or stopped this iPhone in months. There it is. Okay, can everyone see the iPhone on the screen now? This is the iPhone 7S. I've had it for a couple of years. All right. And we're going to come over here. And on an iPhone, you have to have the physical web app. A physical web app. It doesn't matter what it is. You have to have a physical web app. There are people out there that will tell you you don't. There are people out there that will tell you that Google Nearby works on this phone. There were people out there that will tell you that as long as you have Bluetooth enabled, you will get notifications on an iPhone. That doesn't happen. What used to happen is Google had what do they call these things? A widget. Okay, Google had a widget that you could go down here, and it was a physical web widget for Google, and all you did was click on that, and that widget would have shown up right here instead of an actual physical web app. This physical web app works exactly like, let me find it on here, exactly like any other physical web app for Android, okay? This is what has to be on a phone for beacons to work on an iPhone. Don't let anybody tell you any different. It's not true. It doesn't happen. The only way a beacon will work directly with an iPhone is if the app, if an actual app has the iBeacon SDK, okay, which is a piece of code that is programmed into that app. And then now in the iBeacon portion of the platform has to be turned on, and the iBeacon itself, the beacon itself has to be in iBeacon mode. Now you can run a beacon in iBeacon mode and Eddystone mode at the same time. Two totally different platforms, two totally different development codes. Everything is totally different. You can use a beacon on an iPhone, but in order to do that, it has to be the app itself, not the phone. The app itself has to be iBeacon compatible. That means that they have had to have sent the code. Okay, and we can, if you have somebody that has a native app, they have developed it, and they want the SDK, they want the programming to go into that native app, we're more than happy to send them that. They can program that in there, and we can set their beacons to iBeacon. Now, with that said, somebody's going to ask this question, Carrie, do you develop those? No, I don't, and don't intend to start. Okay. I am working on a platform right now as we speak that's going to be native iPhone and native Android phone that's going to work with beacons in a couple of different ways, but it's going to be an actual app. Okay, I'm not developing it. Someone's doing it for me. All right. So if you have the physical web on your phone, like I do here, I can open this up and I can say, hey, look, there's the RX card somewhere on here. Maybe it's not. Let's just open anything. Carry test. I don't have a clue what that is. Oh, there it is right there. Sorry about that. So here's the beacon card. Okay. Open that up. It says the exact same thing, goes to the exact same place, nothing any different. But don't get confused with iPhone. Your market is the Android market. It's not the iPhone market right now. All right. That's going to come. Those things are being developed. A lot of things are being worked on in that arena, and that will come to fruition. Okay. I promise you that will come to fruition. It's just not right now. It's not today. So when a customer asks you, does this work on iPhone? You can say yes, and that's not a lot. But you need to tell the rest of the story. It will work on iPhone if someone has a physical web app. A lot of people that go out and sell, and I know this because I have customers call me and say, hey, this guy said that this works on an iPhone, and that's not been able to work on any iPhone when anybody walked in my door. Tell them the whole thing. Yes, it will. Do you have an iPhone? Let me show you how to put the physical web app on your phone. We do this 100 times a week. Put the physical web app on their phone and show them how it works. And let me tell you what happens when they open that. They go absolutely crazy because they see their ad on their phone and it opens up, and that's really all they care about. That's really all they care about. But it does work if you have a physical web app. It doesn't work if you just have Google on your phone, Google Chrome. It used to, as long as you had the widget hooked up. Okay. Any questions on that at all? And I don't want to, I really want to drive that home. I don't want to drive it through you, but I want to drive that home because I literally get asked these questions like 50 times a week from customers. They said, and it's not my company that's saying it. It's when someone calls me and says, hey, could you help me with my beacons because they're not working on my phone? What kind of phone you got? I have an iPhone. And why didn't you call them? Well, I can't get a hold of them. So why did you call me? Because I found you on YouTube. And you said that it was this way, and I will explain to them. I say, okay, if you will go to the phone and you will download this and turn on your Bluetooth, it will work. All right. And that's what I tell people. That's exactly what I tell people. And they're usually happy after that. And then they become my customer. So, but any questions on iPhone or any questions on Android? We got about 10 or 15 more minutes here. We're going to go. Anybody? That was 30 minutes of a lot of information. That means two things: Bluetooth, nearby, location, iPhone, physical web app. Remember those 5 things and you'll never go wrong. All right, let me shift screens here. I'm going to just share something with you guys. I want to show you something that's mind-boggling to me. If I can find my screen. Okay, we're going to go into the platform for a minute. Can everybody see the platform now? Everybody see that okay? This is one of my customers, okay, and he is doing some A/B testing. I talked to him today, and I'm very excited, okay, on what's happening with him. Does everybody see this number right here, 4.82? If you're getting a 4.82% click-through rate, it's absolutely phenomenal. 3 to 5% is like, wow, that's wowzers. Okay, he's almost at the 5% part. Okay, almost at the 5%. He's had 79 clicks. All right, so 79 people, 79 of these people that saw these notifications clicked on this, and that's how you get the click-through rate. It's this divided by this, and you come out with your 4.82% click-through rate. Click-through rate means that they actually clicked on those links that I was showing you, just like I did going to the RX app website. They literally clicked on that, and they literally went to that website. They actually saw whatever this notification was attached to. Now, a lot of people say, well, how do the notifications work? What is a notification? When you saw me opening my notifications earlier, that triggers our platform that says a notification was seen. Now, we all know that just because a notification came up on that phone and was opened on that phone, now that could mean, did you see me when I first opened my phone and I dropped it down and I saw 3 notifications there? That's considered a view, okay? That's considered a notification view. Notification clicks come from when they actually see it. So 1,638 people have seen those words on his beacons that he placed there. 1,638. 79 of them were compelled by his call to action and what he said. And I don't have permission to show you, so if you don't ask, I'm going to ask to show you these numbers, but I'm not going to show you what they're doing. These guys are marketers, and I will never show what you do to anybody else unless I have permission. Okay. So 1,638 notifications, 79 clicks, 4.82% click through. He is like kicking serious butt. Now I'm fixing to show you something that's going to blow your mind. And I talked to Mike today, and he does not have a problem with me sharing this with you. 13.12% click-through rate. I couldn't help but call the guy. I was excited for him. I asked him, when do we pull the truck up to the warehouse and start sending all these beacons to Chicago? Because this is like phenomenal right here. And he's selling advertising on beacons. Okay. He has a marketing company. He is selling advertising on the markdown cards right here. Okay. He's selling ads on markdown cards, and his message simply says, do you want to advertise here? That's what it says. If you would have asked me last week and said, hey, if I put this on there, would it work? I would probably have said, I don't know, probably not. Ask me this week what I say, and I would say, absolutely, put it on there, okay? He's selling ad space on beacons to people that he is putting around Chicago. So he's going to a business and saying, hey, look here, we're getting a 13.12% click-through rate. 95 clicks a day, 724 notifications. He's only had these a week. He's only had these beacons a week. 724 notifications. Now up here, does everybody see this right here on target? This 95.24% click-through rate. Can everybody see that up there? That was his girlfriend at a concert. His girlfriend was at a concert. That's phenomenal. I mean, mind-boggling phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. So, but you can see here, this beacon, the least performing is 23. It is sad. Least performing beacon is 23.08 and 15.79. So you got one here at 25% and this one right here at 1.64%. These are phenomenal numbers. And let me tell you what I'm starting to find. Keep it simple. Keep your call to actions to the point and keep it simple. And placement is key. Absolute key. Have a guy that's got some beacons out right now. It's the message that is being transmitted isn't really the message that needs to be going to the places he has them put. So we've got a meeting in the morning and we're going to talk and I'm going to help him replace some of his beacons. But the message needs to match the location. All right. The message needs to match the location. So with that said, as you're planning these beacon campaigns, as you're putting these together, think about where you're placing the beacon. Now, if it's a general public, if it's GP, general public, and you want everybody to see it, and maybe you're doing something like the T-Vision guys, they're simply out there promoting television, $49.99 streaming television. Then you want everybody to see it, right? You want to go to the mall and you want to stick one in the food court. You want to go to those kind of places. If you're promoting movies, or promoting ads like this guy's doing, this guy's going to movie theaters. And he's promoting it at movie theaters. And I had a friend of mine ask me today, and if you think about it, wow, really, movie theaters? That doesn't seem like a good place to go. But think about it. A lot of people go to movie theaters. Husband and wife goes to movie theaters, and you don't know if they own their business or not. But obviously, he's getting some very good results from the movie theaters, people clicking on this, okay, and picking up business. So what I want you to see here is notifications are your advertisement actually being seen. Actually being seen. Now, they could be standing there and open up their phone and pull down their notifications and not actually visually be tuned into it. But it's there in front of that person to where they can read that notification. Doesn't mean they will. Doesn't mean they care. Doesn't mean that your message has anything to do with them. But remember this. You're reaching out to anywhere from about 55% of the market. All right. Some places as high as 60%. West Coast, a little bit lower, a few more iPhones on the West Coast. Okay. As you start moving across the country, the Android phone starts lifting up a little bit. Probably up, I would say maybe up in the DC area, maybe the iPhone, it's a little more techie up there, a little more, how do I say this? Because I am one, a little more nerdy. It's that ecosphere of the iPhone. Okay. I have one. I just showed it to you. So what you want to remember is don't allow people to say, well, there's not enough market out there. Are you crazy? Wait a minute. We can reach out to 60% of the market that you're not penetrating right now, that doesn't even know you're here, that could really care less if your door swings either way. We can reach out to them with this technology, blast it onto the streets, let people know that you're here, let people walk into your store and get beacon-only specials, okay? And we're going to talk about that more next week, the beacon-only special program, as we start ramping up for our new release. But they need to understand that just because they own an iPhone, the other 60% of the market has an Android phone. And out of that Android phone, about 40% of them already have BLE, Bluetooth, low energy enabled and nearby. When someone gets a phone and they open their phone and they take it out of the box, guess what's already turned on? Anybody have an idea what's already turned on a phone when you take it out of the box? Bluetooth and nearby. Okay, it's already on. Google wants that turned on for when you open that phone. Android wants that turned on because Google is paying them to place their technology on that phone. Okay, they want that stuff on. What happens is people go in, and I don't understand it. I'm not one of those people. I take mine out of the box and I use it because I'm afraid I'll mess it up. But the only way it's turned off is if someone physically turned it off. It just doesn't get turned off by itself. You saw a while ago, I had to go through 3 layers to even get to nearby. So someone will physically go in there and turn those things off. Get used to picking up someone's phone. Don't be afraid. Some of the older phones, you can go that's why I wanted to show you on this old Android Motorola Verizon phone that I have here. There is actually a Google settings on that phone. And you just click on Google settings and then you go to nearby. But it works just as well as these other phones do. Okay. So don't let people discourage you when you're out talking to them saying, oh, that doesn't work. Oh, really? 13.12% click through, 4.9% click through. This technology does work, but it's all about the messaging. You have to get the message right for it to be right. It's not going to work overnight. Marketing strategies take sometimes months to perfect. Okay. So you have to go out just like Brian Hare. I talked to him today and he said, yeah, he said, I'm testing different things. He said, I'm changing these around and I'm testing different messages and seeing which ones work and which ones don't. You have to A/B test everything. You maybe have to A/B/C/D test everything. You know, if you got 4 beacons, test the same message on 4 different beacons at 4 different places. Get the messaging right and everything else falls right in place. I guarantee it. It works. It's always going to work. People are scrambling for customers today. Businesses are looking for any edge they can possibly get to bring a customer into their business, whatever it takes. Bluetooth technology, okay, coupled with the beacon, emitting that signal that has their data on it that's received on a phone. If it's 1% of the market, it's more than they had. Footfall is the most important thing for a business. Increasing their revenue is the most important thing for a marketer to do for a business. Your job is to help them increase their revenue, help them build their business. They will love you, hug you, and kiss you the rest of your life and continue to throw you money every time they see you because you help them keep the doors open. And that's just the way it works. Any questions at all? If anybody ever needs anything, the best place to reach me is m.me/Kerry K. Miller. And this is HTTPS. Facebook Messenger. Some of you have my phone number. I don't try not to broadcast that out on the web. I have done that a few times, and that's a huge mistake. Don't ever do that, but especially on YouTube. But that's the best way to get a hold of me. Just go to Facebook Messenger. Kerry K. Miller is my Facebook page. You feel free to like me. Thousands of people have that I don't know. And feel free to like me and message me anytime. I have kind of set up office hours. I've been driving myself like way deep under the dirt. So I don't stop work, but I do stop answering the phones unless it's an emergency after 5 o'clock. But please just leave a message or shoot me a message on Messenger while I'm sitting down watching television. I'll be more than happy to answer you. Any questions at all? Thanks everybody for coming out tonight. I hope that the nearby training and how to set up a phone and what to look for and the iPhone training, I hope that kind of cleared up everything. That really should be the first thing we teach. It's not. We go straight into the beacons because without those tools, we don't see the beacons anyway. But everybody have a good night. God bless. We'll see you on next Tuesday night at 7 o'clock.